Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Grab you some terracotta pots and some saucers, and I'm going to share with you some cute little animals that are super cute in your garden. So if you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay, you're going to start with a terracotta pot that measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/8. You're going to use a saucer that measures 4 1/4, and you're going to use 4 little pots that measure 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. Now that other saucer sitting there, we're not using that. Next, line up all your little flower pots, and we're going to take our bigger flower pot and set it on top. Now, each one of those little flower pots has a hole in it, so just line that hole up and make a mark onto the bigger flower pot where those are. And we're going to drill this. Now, you can skip this step if you want to, but you will have to use extra glue when you're putting it together. Just get your marks up there, and then go ahead, and I'm taking just a small drill bit to drill these out, just big enough to get a piece of jute through these. And this step is really not hard. It's pretty easy. But again, you can skip this step, but you will have to use extra glue. And then I'm going to use some dark gray paint, and I'm going to paint all of my pieces. And you want to paint the inside and outside of all of them. And it only took one coat to coat these. Next, to start the eyes, I'm taking a 3/4 inch round sponge brush, and I'm just going to make 2 dots on here. Now try to get as much of the paint on there as you can. Mine aren't complete on here, but I got enough to go ahead and fill in to get it a complete circle. This just helps you get a start on a complete circle. And then I'm just going to take a paintbrush, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint in the rest of it. And you could actually just draw it on there if you want to, but this kind of worked a little bit better for me. Then I'm going to take a 1/2 inch sponge brush and do the same thing, but using black. And I'm just going to put it right in the center. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. And I'm going to get a little bit closer to the white as well, because I don't want quite as much white on there. Just enough so you can kind of see a little circle of it. And then just go ahead and fill the rest of it in with the black paint. Okay, next I'm drawing in my nose. I'm just doing a little triangle, and then I'm doing 2 little circles for cheeks on both sides of the nose. Then I'm going to take a Sharpie and go ahead and outline the nose. And then I'm just going to paint that in with some black paint. Okay, then to give a little bit of contrast between the nose and the eyes, I'm just going to go ahead and paint some white paint right up here, like I'm painting some white fur. And I'm just going up to the top ledge of that flower pot. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in with white. And you can customize these cats however you want to. You can paint them any color you want to. That's what's the good thing about these. You can make them, if you have a cat, you can make them the color of your cat. Then I'm going to go ahead and paint my little cheeks white. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fill those in with the same white paint. And then to give the eyes a little bit more realistic look, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to put a little dot on each one of those. Okay, then go ahead and paint in a little mouth. And then add some whiskers. And if you don't want to draw eyes, you can actually get those little wiggly eyes at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. The ears, I'm going to take a 3/4 inch ball of oven baked clay, and I'm just going to roll it, flatten it out, and then I'm going to pull the front up into a point for the top of the ear, and I'm going to flatten the bottom. It's pretty simple on these. And then just go ahead and push it onto your plate, on your saucer, so you can get the shape of it. Make sure it's flat. And then you're going to bake these for 25 minutes at 275 degrees and until let them cool off real good. To assemble these, if you did drill your holes, just take a little bead and some jute string, just a bead that's small enough to fit down into your flower pot, and we're going to go ahead and string it. And then go ahead and tie a knot down at this one end. And then we're going to run this through each of the flower pots all the way around. So go ahead and start with your flower pot, put it right into the center of it, run it through, And then you're going to run it through the hole in the bottom of the flower pot through the other hole in the flower pot. Now again, you can skip this step, but you will have to use more glue. Okay, then you're going to run it through the bottom of the other flower pot. Go ahead and add a little bit of glue onto the end of your jute. It makes it a little bit stiffer and easier to thread. And then you're going to go through the bottom of the flower pot and you're going to add another bead. And then we're going to glue our bead down at the bottom, but we're going to pull our string really, really tight to make sure that we don't have any slack in it. And then we're going to go ahead and tie our knot off. So pull it pretty tight, then go ahead and get your glue underneath your bead and then push it on in there. And then you want to hold that till it dries. And then you're just going to tie a knot off all the way to the top of that bead. And then put a little bit of glue down inside the bead where that jute came through, and then that'll hold it in place as well. But just make sure that that knot gets all the way right down on top of that bead. And then go ahead and tie it tight, and then go ahead and cut it off. And then you're going to attach the front legs exactly the same way. And then you're going to do the same thing with the front two legs. Just go ahead and add your bead, pull it tight with the glue underneath it, and then run it through those two holes to the other side and glue your other one in. This is a little bit easier than just having to put a bunch of glue on them. But go ahead and pull those tight and get that bead glued in, and then put some glue down inside that bead to hold that string in place. Okay, and then just tie that one off just like we did the other. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue onto each one of those knots just to kind of secure it to make sure it does stay in place. The tail, I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and I'm going to take some 1/2-inch beads, and I'm just folding that inside there and then pushing it into my bead, and I'm going to glue that in, and that'll hold that in place. Glue it in on both sides. And I'm going to use 6 beads on this tail. And you can glue each one in if you want to, but you really don't have to. And then once you get them all strung, go ahead and make a loop and run that other loop end back down into your beads. And that's how we're going to attach it to the body. I'm going to paint mine exactly the same color as my body. Now you could do a contrasting color on this. It might be cute even with a white tail. Attach the tail, I'm just going to run my pipe cleaner right through the bottom, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that last bead, and I'm going to pull that pipe cleaner tight. And then I'm just going to fold that pipe cleaner up inside of my flower pot, and then I'm going to glue it in on the inside as well. Just fold it up real good so it's pretty tight, and then glue that in. Next, I'm just going to attach my head right to the front part. I'm just going to put some Loctite on it and glue it in. Now, if you saw my video last week, I bought some Loctite that was kind of expired, so this one is a little bit tough to get out of here. Normally, it's never this hard to get it out of the tube, but this was a little bit old, and since I'd already invested in it, I went ahead and used it. Just get it around the edges real good, and then we're going to put a little hot glue in there as well, just to hold it in place while this dries. But that Loctite locks in pretty quick. And if you're going to put these outside, you need to go ahead and spray them with some kind of a sealer to seal your paint. And just let it dry, pretty easy. Okay, that's how this little guy turned out. I think he turned out super cute. Let me know what you think in the comments. Mouse, I'm using a flower pot that measures 3 by 2.5 inches, and I'm going to use a saucer that measures 3.5 inches. Then I'm using these little flower pots I got at Hobby Lobby. You get 4 to a pack for the larger ones, and you get, I think, 8 or 10 of them in a pack for the smaller ones. And I'm going to use the small ones for the tail and the larger ones for the legs. And I'm going to paint these with some chalk paint in gray. It's a Parisian gray from Folk Art, and I'm just going to paint all of my pieces the same exact color. Okay, next for the ears, I'm going to take an oven baked clay in a light gray and a pink. I'm just making a round ball, and I'm going to flatten the end of it so he has round ears. And then I'm going to use a little bit of pink just to put on the inside of it, just to give it a little bit of color. But I'm using probably just a 1/2 inch ball, flatten it, and then just make sure you get it round, and then just flatten the bottom so you can put it onto your flower pot saucer. And I'm just taking a little bit of pink. I'm just going to roll it in a ball, and I'm going to flatten it out. I'm just going to kind of smooth it into the other ear. Just to give it a little bit of insert onto that little ear. And just kind of smooth it out a little bit. And then you're going to bake these at 275 degrees for 25 minutes. And it's because they're pretty thick. I'm going to say mine were probably about 3/8 of an inch thick. Okay, next to make the little cheeks and the nose, I'm just taking a little round 1/2 inch ball. I'm going to flatten it out kind of in an oval shape. And then I'm going to put an indent at the bottom just to kind of give a separation. And then I'm going to take the pink and I'm going to roll it into like a little oval shape as well to go for the nose. Just kind of give it a little separation there and make sure the top part's rounded. And you can make his face as big as you want to. I just made it kind of small. And you're going to bake these at 275 degrees for 15 minutes. Just kind of smooth that in there to get them joined. After that baked, I'm going to go ahead and do the eyes. And I'm just going to kind of set this up on top of here and kind of get the shape of the eyes. So you're going to kind of do a half circle. And then you're going to do a curve right there. Now we're going to put this below that eye, but go ahead and get that curved in there so you can kind of get your eye shape. And then I'm just going to paint these white. And I'm coming in with some black to do the inside of the eye, so just do a U shape right there and then just go ahead and fill that in. And then again, if you're not comfortable painting these, go ahead and just get some of those little googly eyes over at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. Those look just as good. Just adding 3 little eyelashes on each side. Okay, then to give it a little bit more character, I'm just going to add a little bit of white right on the inside part of the edge. And then I'm going to go ahead and trace out the bottom of the eye with black paint just to kind of finish it up. I'm just going to go ahead and set my nose on top of here, and I'm just going to draw my mouth and then my whiskers on this, and then I'm going to glue this in after I do this. Just kind of draw a little mouth with a little smile. And then we're going to add just a few little whiskers on each side. Start assembling it. I'm just going to use some Loctite Power Grab. I'm going to put the nose on, and then I'm going to put the whole face over the top part of the body. I'm using Loctite plus some hot glue, and then I'm just going to put it right on top of my flower pot and let it dry real well. And then go ahead and attach the ears the same way. We're just going along the back edge of the flower pot saucer. Okay, for the legs, just put Power Grab on the front two. Go ahead and line them all up together and then set the front edge onto the front two. And then we're going to put the back ones at a diagonal here in a minute because the front two will cover up the flower pot like that, but the back two won't. They'll be hanging over the edge, so we are going to angle those two out. Just kind of get it lined up, and then we're going to go ahead and put some glue on them, and then we're going to angle them on the outside. Just make sure that they, when you put those on the angled, that they can stand up straight. Just kind of angle it out there like that on both sides, about the same way. And then just set this whole thing aside and let it dry real good. To assemble the tail, I'm just taking some floral wire and I'm just going to run it through all of my flower pots to join them. And these are the little wooden flower pots I got at Hobby Lobby, and they already had a hole in the bottom of them. And then just go ahead and bend your wire over in the bottom part and then slide it up into the flower pot. And then just go ahead and push it through. You might have to cut off some wire on the bottom part and push it through, and then add some glue. Okay, then curl the other end up, stick it down into the bottom of the flower pot as well, and then go ahead and crimp those so you can get it through the hole in the bottom of the flower pot. And then once we get it through there, we're going to go ahead and glue it to the back of the body. You just can put a little bit of glue right at the back and then let that dry real well, and then we're going to go ahead and turn the tail up. I really like this one, and I love the combination of the two with the cat and the mouse. Let me know what you think. Hey, I had a super fun time making these. I think they turned out so cute. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.